Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm doing a little bit of a Q&A. I posted two things on Instagram for like the Ask Me a Question thing, and we got some really cool questions. So I'm going to dive into those today. Let's get into the questions. Why the 350Z platform? Was it price or modularity? Honestly, I got into the 350Z platform because I started drifting right around the prime era of like the proximity thing with Adam, Taylor, and Ginge. And they really kind of catapulted this idea that the Z was just like bulletproof tank of a chassis that just ran forever, and the VQ took the beating and the transmissions were great. And that just kind of stuck in my head, and knowing that I wanted to prioritize seat time and just getting involved in the events and driving, I knew that the Z was kind of clearly the way to go for that. So I ended up switching chassis from an S14 to a Z and then started drifting, and it's just kind of snowballed. We've stuck with that chassis since. Maybe we'll try and expand into some new stuff going forward, but for now it's just been Z Army since day one. We've got 3 of them now, so it's getting a little out of hand. We need to do something different. What is the easiest mod but not cheapest way to get horsepower? Honestly, this definitely varies by engine platform and car and setup, but I think the correct answer to what you're specifically asking is nitrous. Obviously, some cars take to nitrous well, way more than other cars, but you can get kits for pretty cheap. And if you have something like a Z, you can kind of just slap it on and go. I mean, I have some buddies that literally just ran like 50 and 75 shots without even retuning. Not telling you to do that. Consult your tuner, consult whoever's building your car, whatever. But yeah, nitrous seems to be the easiest way to get horsepower. It's just so simple, and some cars can take it, some can't. So kind of varies, but nitrous is the answer to that question, in my opinion. Pro-Am or clutch kickers? Wow, you guys are getting dicey right out of the gate. No, I'm just kidding. I think it definitely depends what you want out of drifting and what your end goals are. I think the 2 events or the 2 series serve 2 different purposes. You know, if you're strong on like, I need to get to pro spec and get a license, then I obviously think Pro-Am is going to work for you. If you just want to compete against high level cars, high level driving, push yourself, then in theory that should be clutch kickers. We don't really know because the series is an entirely new thing with a new owner at a new track. I trust him in his process, but obviously we just don't know. There's been no events. There's nothing to base it off of how competitive the field's going to be, the judging, the tire rules or whatever. We just don't know anything yet. So once the series kind of gets rolling and we have some data to, compare, rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and kind of see how the series is, then I feel like I can give some better insight on that. But in general, they kind of provide 2 different purposes with competition drifting. However, in a sense, maybe not really, because FD just put out this statement about clutch gears being able to like feed you into getting a license. So at that point, I don't necessarily really know what the point of Pro-Am is. If it's giving away maybe the same ability to obtain a license, kind of seems a little silly in my book, but I'm not too sure what the logic and the kind of value is to each series in terms of getting a license. I feel like it would just kind of make sense to leave the licensing thing to Pro-Am, give them more licenses to give out. I don't know. We'll just have to see how that all unfolds as well. Are you doing Grid Life Atlanta this year? Yes, we are doing multiple Grid Life events, starting out with South Carolina, and then we'll be rolling into Road Atlanta, which I'm stoked. It's kind of like the mix event between FD Atlanta and Grid Life Road Atlanta. It's going to be really cool to finally drive Road Atlanta. I'm stoked on that. I can't believe I'm finally getting the opportunity to do that. But in addition, I've never been to FD Atlanta. So being that they're on the same weekend, I'll naturally be there for FD Atlanta as well, which I imagine, because we're not going to be driving the same time there, that's impossible. I would imagine we're all going to be able to watch FD Atlanta pretty easily. So I don't know how the ticket structure is going to work or whatnot, but should be sweet. I'm very excited. Going to get to see FD Atlanta in person and also drive the same weekend. I can't wait. Road Atlanta is like a dream course for me and pretty much everybody, I feel like. So it's going to be rad. I can't wait. I'll see you guys out there if you're coming. Please don't miss it. If you can make it to Grid Life Road Atlanta, it's going to be rowdy. Where can I actually rent a drift car? A few different people do this in different regions, but I don't off the top of my head know exactly who. If you're in Florida, maybe it's something I'm going to be doing in the future. I kind of want to maybe rent out our RAR demo, like shop VQ 350Z. Maybe I'll talk to OSW and Tommy, and we can kind of like work something out for renting it out at that track through OSW or something in the future. I think it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Maybe I should, tag Tommy and OSW if you want me to rent out a car through them, with them at OSW. If that might be something you're interested in, tag Tommy, tag OSW. Let them know in the comments that people want it, and maybe we can work something out. Goals for this year in events you are going to attend. My goals for this year are obviously to expand and grow RAR performance as much as possible. I want to just be involved with everybody's builds and programs as much as possible in drifting, motorsports, the streetcar space. I definitely want to grow our involvement with the local community as well. In Jacksonville, obviously where we're located, I want to kind of by Q2 and Q3 of the year expand into the shop, offering services and whatnot. I just want to be involved with everybody. I think it's really cool. The community's sick. In the first month of business, we were able to work with people to get their parts for their builds, whether it's street cars, drift cars, all over the country. And that's been a crazy feeling, just being able to be involved in builds from all the way out west, local, north, just wherever. It's been insane. It's such a cool feeling being able to be a part of everybody's thing that they got going on. And I just want to be able to expand on that and be able to help as much as possible and get involved with everybody as much as possible. As for the events we were going to attend, kind of shifting it up, it's going to be a lot of grid life, both Holly, LS Fest, East, and Texas. Like I said, multiple grid life events, Fuel Fest stuff, OSW stuff. So kind of less competition this year and more so just big events with big turnout so that we can just meet people, network, connect with drivers, fans, companies, get involved in the industry as much as possible and drive really rad tracks, which I think we've been held back from competing locally in Florida, but we're going to be able to expand on that this year and I can't wait. Do you have plans of driving FD at some point? Absolutely. When I got into drifting, I got into it with the goal and the end vision that I was going to be an FD driver, the best one in the world. And that hasn't gone anywhere. If you know me, you know that I'm a very competitive person from like a very young age. All my hobbies that I've been in, different sports, video games, esports. If I do something and I fixate on a hobby, I need to be the absolute best at it. I'm so competitive. I can't get invested in something and start learning a skill or pursue something and not want to be better than everybody else around me. It's weird. It's just my brain chemistry. I have like this, I just have to be winning. I don't know why. It just is what it is. So with the drifting, when I first got into it, I knew right away that like I knew before I even started drifting that I wanted to be a competition drift driver. I have never once kind of like trailed down the rabbit hole of like, oh, maybe I just want to build like a cool style car that doesn't function as well, but like looks rad and like drive team tandem comps. I'm like, no, I want to do head-to-head 2-car battles in these pro-level cars and just win and beat everybody and show them that I'm the best and I'm working hard to be the best. So obviously that goal has not gone anywhere, but right now with what I'm trying to do, growing the business and shop, that right now is, I feel like would be a limiting factor if I put so much time and money into chasing that. So right now, I just think that that is like a back burner later goal. For the first few years of my drifting career was always a short-term goal. I just look at it now as a long-term goal. I need to build some stepping stones before I can cross that bridge. So that's what I'm working on doing now. And yeah, we're just gonna have fun touring the country doing really badass drift events until then. So not going anywhere. Maybe it'll come sooner than I think. I guess that all just kind of depends on opportunities and what happens over these next few years or this year even maybe. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll be in there. I don't know. Keep an eye out. Are you sponsoring or will you sponsor other drivers this year? The short answer to that question in terms of this year, unfortunately, is likely not. It just takes a lot of capital and budget market-wise to be able to invest in sponsoring people. It is something that I want to do so bad. I can't wait so we can kind of grow and expand everything to where we can really sponsor and become a part of people's programs and their cars and their journey on an even deeper level. It's just going to take some time of growing the business before we can get to that point. But I look forward to it because I have so many cool friends and so many people that I don't know, but that I see out there, even out west, up north, just doing these really rad events. They're really rad drivers. They're creating awesome content, and I just wish I could like help them and just contribute to them being able to do what they do and push it even further. So it is something that I want to do. I just can't do it right now. So we'll see. Just keep growing everything day by day, brick by brick, and we'll get to that point eventually. So it is something that's on the platter. It's just not being served at the table just yet. I just opened up a shop. Best way to get clientele besides the simple business plan. While I'm not an expert on this, as I'm so new to small business ownership and entrepreneurship, I can give a little bit of insight that I've learned that I think will apply to what you're doing. Obviously, you just said you opened up a shop. So that means you're either a mobile mechanic or you have a headquarters, shop, station, garage that you're working out of, which likely means you're fixating your target audience of your business on a specific city or town. What that means is local business is going to be huge for you. When you start researching business and stuff, especially in this day and age, you get so much overwhelming advice about pushing Instagram, TikTok, all this marketing, this nationwide marketing and stuff, but you're not selling a product or a service that is nationwide at the moment. So Put your efforts into local. Right now, the biggest driver for you is going to be word of mouth. When somebody is looking to get their brakes changed or their tie rod replaced or their hub or whatever, they're not going on TikTok and Instagram. Just your regular neighbor, he's not doing that. He's not looking for someone who can change his brakes on Instagram and TikTok. Maybe Instagram, maybe Google will push him to those platforms. It's very unlikely. Chances are he's going to see Facebook ads for shops when he starts searching, or chances are he's going to look it up and Google's going to suggest him local businesses. Grow your Google page, grow your Facebook page, consider running ads in those spaces, Google as well as Facebook. You can do the radius ads where you're setting a specific town and like a 10-mile radius. That's going to push what you're doing to the actual local crowd of people who's likely going to be your business. So local, word of mouth. You can even get with gyms and put your business cards in the gyms. They love doing that. I know every gym that I've ever signed up at, there's like a wall and it's just business cards of local stuff. So have an eye-catching business card, put it up there. A lot of local businesses will let you do that. Just talk, communicate, word of mouth, get going, and you should see a little bit of growth with that. And if not, just keep trying it. It will produce growth over time. And if that doesn't help, maybe I just hit a light bulb for you for another avenue, just mentioning what I did. So that's a little bit of advice that I can give. I'm not an expert on it by any means, but it's something that I've tried to apply to the RAR stuff, and it's worked pretty decently. So yeah, just a little bit of advice that I can try and give. I'm not an expert, but yeah. Drifting or grip racing, honestly, they're just neck and neck. They're two different motorsports that I feel like provide two different types of fun and adrenaline. Drifting is just balls out, maximum adrenaline rush. You're controlling a car that's out of control. You're door-to-door tandeming with other drivers, riding these walls sideways. It's absolutely insane, and there's really nothing like it. But then there's that iffiness of the competitive aspect where so much bias comes in, or just judging, and just there's all these weird nuances that can kind of affect the way the competitive and losing side of it goes. And then you got grip racing, which can be a little bit less of I would say, an adrenaline rush and crazy and have that shock factor. But what I love about grip racing is that you just get that raw racing, wheel to wheel, fighting for positions, winner, loser. If you're the fastest guy out there, you're the fastest guy out there. If you are the best driver there on that track, in that car, same car as everybody else, like MX-5 Cup, and you're laying down the fastest lap, you are the fastest car because of you. There's no second guessing that. There's no misjudgment. You are the fastest. I love it. Winners are winners. They deserve to win. They fight. They push. That's my favorite aspect about grip racing, and drifting obviously is like that, but to an extent, especially on occasion, can very much so go against that and lack that, at least when it comes to controversial calls, opinions, structure of things. So I guess until drifting evolves maybe into something else, or it somehow gets pushed by something new, like a different criteria or something, then maybe it will catch up to that in terms of that. But I do feel like that is also one of the things that holds drifting back in terms of competitiveness and viewership ability, because it's just very confusing to the new audience. And there's no if you're experienced and you get it, there's a clear winner usually, but then sometimes you think there's a clear winner and it goes the other way, and it doesn't really make total sense because of bad calls or weird rules that not necessarily everybody might agree on or feel is best. So then it can just be very hard for new people to pick up on the judging system and if it's fair and if there's truly a winner and a loser. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things where once you get it, but there's still caveats. So I like them both equally as much. They're rad. I'm definitely going to push myself to get into some more grip racing this year. So that'll be a little bit different, but I'm excited to kind of start from ground zero, try something new, obviously with a new chassis. No Z this time. Go ahead, let everybody know, sound the alarm. No Z this time for the grip racing car. We're doing something completely different. I'm so excited to get my feet wet with a new chassis, especially doing a new type of driving. It's going to be insane, honestly. I don't know if you guys are even expecting what car we're going to use, but I've definitely narrowed it down. I know what we're going to acquire in the next couple of months for it. And yeah, just stay tuned. It's going to be sick. I'm excited. I feel like it might be a pretty fitting car for me. So maybe leave your guesses down below if you think you might know what it is. We'll see. This next question is asking for insight and advice on getting into the Pro-Am and starting the Pro-Am. I should probably do a podcast episode on this because there is so much information that I could give to help somebody new that's diving into Pro-Am for the first time. But I'm going to keep it short for a quick little rundown of what I recommend. Keep your car simple. Keep your car reliable. You don't want to be fighting so many things breaking, because at the end of the day, when there's only 4 rounds, if your car takes you out 1 round, it really puts you in a tough place of being able to hold P1 for a license. In addition to that, and this has bitten me in the ass multiple times, don't overdrive your car. The people that win Pro-Am typically are literally the dudes who are just the most consistent. They might not be laying down the 95-point run or the 99-point lead in the most crazy chase, but it's the guy that's laying down like an 85-point lead in a really solid chase every single lap in every single battle he does. There's no mistakes. He's driving his best lap the best he can every single time. He's not pushing on these random laps and doing these weird bobbles and trying to get gnarlier and gnarlier every single time he advances through the bracket. My key strategy when I was like dominating in Pro-Am was just keep it simple. Just find the best run that I could do in practice and qualifying, and then just run with that. Like, don't try anything crazy. Don't try and push yourself off the wall, because chances are 20 out of the 32 guys there are gonna do that. And then that leaves maybe 12 guys at most for you to really have to duke it out with for a spot to get on the podium. And if you just keep doing that and you're already a decent driver, you'll probably find a lot of success in the Pro-Am. And you'll probably find yourself going pretty far just by following that. Keep your car simple, drive your best, but don't overcomplicate and push yourself all the time and be the reason you lose every battle. If you get beaten, it should just be because you got outdrove, not because you made a mistake. Obviously, we're all guilty of that from time to time. I did that multiple times, but you live and you learn, and then once you reflect on it, you can kind of grow and stop doing that. It just takes time, and you definitely have to lose that way a few times where you're like, oh shit, I should probably stop trying to do these ridiculous ass transitions on these average drivers and then just shitting myself and choking and then losing the battle. So yeah, keep it simple, drive good. You don't have to have your car crazy gripped up. If you have your car crazy gripped up, you're probably gonna end up driving like shit, because you're just fighting your car the whole time because you're not a gnarly Pro 1 driver yet. That's why you're in Pro-Am. So yeah, don't try and have like a ridiculous setup on your car where you're like running away from everybody, because the judges are going to see that you're like pulling away from everybody, but they're also going to see you doing these crazy ass like steering wheel inputs and maneuvers. I did that for a while and it was just like really silly. Just be fast in a slower car and you'll probably win. And you'll probably be faster than everybody that's like doing these like ridiculous runs, like barely getting their car across the track. It like sounds like it's about to bog down on like the freaking main sweeper because they're just wide open and their car's hooked up so much. They got like 5 inches of toe in. But yeah, keep it simple and then you should be fine, man. That's it for this video. If you guys have any more questions, I would definitely love to do a part 2. Drop some comments, whether you're watching on Instagram or YouTube. It'd be really sweet if we could do a part 2. So yeah, if you have any questions or want some insight, advice, hot takes, perspective on drifting, motorsports, or anything that I can contribute to conversation-wise, let me know down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check out rarperformance.com if you need any parts for your performance build. Reach out to me on Instagram or our email on the website. Link in the description for that. Would love to help get you squared away with the best parts for your build at the best price possible. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.